On this episode of In the Fight, we look back at what 2012 meant for Afghanistan. Wounded combat veterans leave Afghanistan on their own terms. A reconstruction team keeps Highway 1 open. We get a look at the people tasked with keeping the capital of Afghanistan safe. And we meet one very fortunate couple. ...2012 was an important year for the war in Afghanistan. NATO Channel correspondent Jake Tutman takes a look back at the accomplishments that were made and the challenges that must still be faced.
2012 has been a year of development for Afghanistan. In the capital, Kabul, new roads, streetlights and parks signal continuing efforts to redevelop a city all but destroyed in the civil war. Across the country, 85% of people live in districts where they have access to basic healthcare, leading to a vastly improved life expectancy, and more than 8 million students are now in education. But despite these signs of progress, the 2014 deadline for the transition of combat responsibility to the Afghan National Forces, or ANSF, and the effect this will have on Afghanistan's security is still at the forefront of people's minds.
خب مهمترین مسئله در سال 2012 انکشاف قوت‌های ما بود. انکشاف قوت‌ها کمیتشان بسیار بالا رفت، قابلیتشان افزایش یافت. سال گذشته ما 80% عملیات‌ها را رهبری کردیم، پلانگذاری کردیم و به اجرا گذاشتیم.
The number of ANSF has certainly increased, 330,000, up 15% from this time last year, while ISAF troops have decreased from 130 to 102,000 in the same time period. And despite fears that this transition could lead to insecurity, in many parts of the country local people seem fairly satisfied with the progress made by the ANSF. But in the notoriously volatile eastern and southern provinces such as Helmand, the people still suffer regular acts of violence, with women in particular the primary victims.
The overall security situation, I think, compared to before is better, a little bit, but women are still the soft target, and they, I think, are the first victims of insecurity and violence due to the consequences of the ongoing war in the country.
The Quran burnings in February and the anti-Islamic film which came to prominence in September seriously threatened to undermine ISAF and Afghan relations. But it was the rise of insider attacks, with 45 incidents leading to 61 deaths and 2 incidents still pending investigation, that was the main cause for concern. Reasons for the attacks are multiple. Insurgent infiltration and cultural misunderstandings are partly to blame. But with more Afghan soldiers killed in these attacks than coalition, it suggests this is not exclusively a cultural or ideological issue. Both ISAF and the Afghan command say they are working together to strengthen recruitment procedures and also to improve cultural relations between troops.
سربازای خود بررسی کردیم. بایومتریک 10,000 نفر بایومتریک شده که ادامه داره. به این قانون نیستیم، باید به کلی قطع بشه یا به آخرین نقطه خود برسه.
It is acknowledged by both ISAF and the Afghan government that the ANSF will need long-term support post-2014, particularly the Air Force and in logistics and equipment. And at the 2012 Chicago Summit and Tokyo Conference, the international community pledged $16 billion over the next 4 years and long-term mentoring support to the ANSF. Looking forward, 2014 will also mark Afghanistan's next democratic election. Current President Hamid Karzai is unable to stand again, and many feel the stability of the country will depend on a fair and balanced election.
In one hand, we have war in Afghanistan going on still, but in the other hand, we have life, and we have signs of peaceful life in the country. By 2014, when the international troops will leave, life will not be stopped in this country. We will not go back. We don't want to go back. We will try all for a better future in the country, if not for ourselves, at least for our children.
This is Jake Tutman reporting from Afghanistan for the NATO channel.
For some service members, leaving Afghanistan was a traumatic and damaging experience. But through a special program, veterans are able to leave Afghanistan on their own terms. Army Staff Sergeant Gwendolyn Young brings us this story.
8 combat veterans recently returned to the place where their lives were changed forever, a place many of them never thought they'd see again.
When I first heard about this program to come back, they were doing it in Iraq, and they were trying to get it to come back to Afghanistan. And Rick Kelwich, who first asked me if I wanted to come back, I was like, no, I don't ever want to go back to Afghanistan again. But when I left, Afghanistan wasn't really in a good spot. It didn't really seem like we were winning, I didn't think there was much hope for this country, Came back, we've had, different briefings from different generals, different commanders, and everything I've heard has been phenomenal. It's awesome, the progress that's been made.
Sergeant Jared Lemon served 2 tours in Afghanistan with the 82nd Airborne Division and suffered a right upper arm amputation in April 2010. The group traveled to different bases aboard military aircraft, the first time for most since medical evacuation from the battlefield. Life after combat for these heroes brought about many changes, mental, emotional, and physical. Sergeant Lemon shared a common bond with Specialist Lyle Yance, an amputee who also served with the 82nd Airborne Division.
Just because, there's always that background thought of, well, what is it like now? What if I hadn't gone, What did I miss out on when I left, And I think to not take advantage of that opportunity for that type of closure, for that type of experiences, it would be a travesty. Everything that's been done over here has actually ended up making a huge and profound difference on, this portion of the world, not just this country, but in this area in general, this region, I guess you could say. It's made a profound difference, so it wasn't pointless. That's the biggest thing, I guess.
Reporting from Kandahar, Afghanistan, I'm Staff Sergeant Gwendolyn Young.
Hi, my name is Specialist Barker. I'm here at Kandahar with Bravo Company 603rd ASB. I want to give a shout out to my son and my father in the U.S. Virgin Islands and my in-laws in Clearfield, Utah.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Jermaine Savage. I'd like to send a shout out to my wife and kids, Adriana and Brianna and Isaiah, and my family back home, Virginia Beach, Virginia.
I'm PFC Guillermo Castro. I'm here in Afghanistan with 3rd Infantry Division. I'd like to give a shout out to my family and parents in Apple Valley, California. I love you all very much, and I'll see you very soon.
Coming up, we find out what it takes to serve 3 square meals a day at a major military base. And a reconstruction team keeps Highway 1 open. Check out dividshub.net for the latest accurate and reliable information as In the Fight continues. What does the field ration, known as an MRE, stand for? The answer when we return.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divots, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
From combat-related stress to the day-to-day stressors of life.
This package is going to be completed.
This is the fourth time this week.
Stress can affect every Marine and Marine family. The De-Stress Line provides anonymous counseling for Marines and Marine families when it's needed most. If you're feeling the effects of stress, call today and let us help you win your personal battles.
What does the field ration known as an MRE stand for? The answer is B, meal ready to eat. It takes a great deal of coordination and effort to feed more than 9,000 service members, 3 times a day, 365 days a year. Air Force Staff Sergeant George Solis gives us a glimpse of how this is accomplished day in and day out at a major military base.
Hundreds of service members at the 379th Air Expeditionary Wing eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at one of the 3 dining facilities on base. But how does the food end up on the plate? First, anywhere from $1 to $4 million worth of supplies come into the rations warehouse per month.
Basically, this is the hub of the whole operation as far as feeding of this entire base. Rations received will be your bottled water, all your dry goods. On the cold side, we receive such items as chicken, we receive the hamburgers, all of our fruit, produce, which comes locally.
From the rations warehouse, supplies are delivered to the 3 dining facilities on base, where shelves are stocked and meals are prepared.
So on average, at the end of that dining facility, it'll be approximately 9 to 11 hours per day to prepare the meals.
Sergeant Boykin also said to ensure customer satisfaction, food service sanitation standards must be met and facilities must be maintained with the support of base civil engineering. Reporting from the 379th Air Expeditionary Wing, I'm Staff Sergeant George Solis.
If you're in a remote location and need supplies, look to the air for the 816th Expeditionary Airlift Squadron. Senior Airman Rob Harnden gives us a bird's eye view from a C-17 Globemaster and files this report.
The C-17 air mission is just unique in that we directly get to support the warfighters that are on the ground. The guys that are in the pods every day, it's just an honor to be able to be a part of their mission there directly and being able to resupply them with food and water, ammunition, bullets, anything you name it, we've probably dropped it out of a C-17. We have a huge honor in being a part of the mission here in Afghanistan, and it's nice knowing that the impact that we have helps the guys that are doing the majority of the fighting. It's good that our mission can take care of those guys and we can be a part of that.
Highway 1, the Ring Road, stretches over 1,300 miles connecting the country's largest cities. When part of the highway is compromised, it's important to get it back up and running as quickly as possible. Army Staff Sergeant Katie Gray brings us this story.
People in the district of Tarnak-Wal-Jaldak noticed that every year during the rainy season, the Tarnak River flooded and was slowly eroding the soil near this section of Highway 1. They called for help, and engineers of the Zabul Provincial Reconstruction Team and a local construction company began a project to stop erosion on the 150-meter section of road. Almost a month later, most of the 3-part project is complete and includes an erosion protection wall, a dam, and a diversion channel for the river. In Afghanistan, Highway 1 is one of the most relied upon roads in the country. connecting all of the country's largest cities in one large loop.
People use this highway one for different purposes, security-wise, business-wise, health-wise. Everybody is using this highway one just for doing something to improve their life. The main important is to keep it safe and bring peace.
As the rainy season draws closer, Karim and his men's hard work will be put to the test. Reporting from Zabul, I'm Army Staff Sergeant Katie Gray.
Throughout the course of the war in Afghanistan, women have become more and more empowered in a male-dominated society. NATO Channel correspondent Ruth Owen gives us an in-depth look at the challenges women continue to face on the road ahead.
It's 3 years since Afghanistan implemented its Elimination of Violence Against Women law. While Afghan women have made significant progress in recent years with record numbers of girls in schools, there's still some way to go. A report released today by the United Nations mission in Afghanistan recognizes both progress and gaps in the implementation of the law, which outlaws practices like forced marriage, rape and beating. It said cases of violence have risen, but people are more comfortable coming forward to report them. And while conviction rates are generally high, when brought to judges, the number of cases going to trial is still low.
There has been lots of efforts toward elimination of violence, from legislation, from implementation, but then we are lacking monitoring, and justice mechanisms is not very strong to deliver justice to the victims of violence in this country. But I think we should also address and focus on the cultural aspects of violence and bringing peace in the society.
President Karzai has called violence against women a social menace. At this forum of Afghan women leaders, most agreed that challenges still remain for females.
We believe that the violence against women in Afghanistan currently, the one which we see every day happening, is as the result of war in this country. So this addressing violence against women should be a part of peace process or any peace process development in the country.
Across much of Afghanistan, cultural disapproval means Afghan women find it hard to work, although they may often be the sole providers for their children.
A lot of the women that we have in our program are widows, or their husbands are disabled or have some sort of addiction that they can't provide for their families. Therefore, these women are the sole bread earners of their households.
شوهرم مریض بود، تکلیف زردیسیا داشت. با او خاطر بسیار زیاد مریضیش پیشرفته شده بود، مشکلات روزگار دیگه اقتصاد بسیار ضعیف بود. اونا که مریض شد از کار ماندن دیگه، نمیتونستن کار کنن. در غیر از او دکاندار بود، خیاط بود، دکاندار بود، دکان لباس فروشی داشت، شرکت تولیدی داشت. این کلگی مریضی کل چیزا را از دست داد.
It may be slow progress, but more cases of violence against women in Afghanistan are being brought to light by the media. And the cities are seeing more women working, not only in the markets, but as lawyers, journalists and judges. Many women still fear their liberties may be eroded in the future, but with more women out in the open, it'll be harder to ignore their concerns.
This means that women are aware of their rights, women are aware of their responsibilities, and women do not only speak, but they also act. So this will be the first step toward women's meaningful engagement within the peace process at the national level.
This is Ruth Owen in Kabul for the NATO channel.
Hi, my name is Specialist Dustin Smith. I am from 212 CAV. I'm at 5 Game Ferry, serving in Afghanistan, and I would like to say hello to my wife, Claudia Smith, and I love you, and I'll be home soon.
Specialist Lynch. I just want to give a shout out to my wife, Brooke, in Schweinfurt, Germany, and all my family back in Mayberry, North Carolina. I love y'all all. I'll see y'all soon.
Hey, this is Specialist Patrick Acaldo from 5 Gambury, Afghanistan. Just want to give a shout out to my parents over in St. Paul, Minnesota. Miss you, love you, and we'll see you soon.
Coming up, we get a look at the people tasked with keeping the capital of Afghanistan safe. And we'll showcase some of the best photos from our service members as In the Fight, presented by Divids, continues. Which country borders Afghanistan? The answer when we return.
I want
want to give a shout out to my family and friends.
I want to send a shout out to my husband,
to my parents, my family back home.
I'd like to give a shout out to my girlfriend.
To my family and friends in Lansing, Michigan.
To my family out in Tucson, Arizona.
To my beautiful wife and children in Des Moines, Iowa.
To everybody in Texas.
In York, Pennsylvania.
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Chicago, Illinois.
Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Orlando, Florida. Oceanside, California.
And Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
I love you guys. I miss you. And I hope I'll see you soon.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divots, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
Which country borders Afghanistan? The answer is D, all of the above. Preparing Afghan security forces to take the lead is as much a cultural issue as it is about mentoring and advising. Army broadcasting correspondent Gail McCabe gives us a closer look into the people tasked with keeping the capital of Afghanistan safe.
Understanding how Afghans lead is the job for Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Acklin, an AFPAC hand, a program created to bridge the gap between cultures.
A lot of people like to say that we're connective tissue.
What he connects to is Lieutenant General Salingi, Chief of Police for Kabul, the city, and the province.
You don't really mentor a three-star, but what you do is you provide him access to stuff that he may not have.
Topping the list is maintaining the safety of Kabul. 10 years ago, there was a population of 500,000. Today, at 5 million, Kabul is comparable in size to Boston or Miami. No one knows for sure where the people are from, how they got here, or why they came.
What you'll notice is it's a little unorthodox. They got roads blocked off. They know where people are coming, where people are going. They throw a lot of manpower at it.
Kabul currently has a police force of 14,000, and the police chief has set up aggressive defensive procedures around the city, what he calls a ring of steel. 25 checkpoints that surround the perimeter. But it is, he says, only a start. All the problems in Kabul, he says, are mine to solve. The job for the police is to provide security. At age 47, Salingi has gained a reputation for speaking out against corruption and for personally ensuring 24/7 hands-on protective measures from Taliban attacks.
They're to the point now where they're doing security operations on their own. We just got to get them equipped to the point where they can take it over completely.
Gail McCabe, Afghanistan.
One of the hardest aspects that come with the job of being in the military are the deployments. Being away from family and friends for long stretches of time can be difficult for anyone. Airman Jimmy Moreland introduces us to one very fortunate couple.
Combat medics take turns driving laps around a small base here in southern Afghanistan. Today, Specialist Tracy Sturdivant and her colleagues are getting licensed on this vehicle.
We were doing MEV driver's training, which is the medical evacuation vehicle. It's a different version of the Stryker. In a nutshell, yes, it's an armored ambulance.
This armored all-terrain vehicle allows the medics to respond to emergencies outside the wire. When she's not training or directly supporting combat missions, Specialist Sturdivant works at the clinic with another Specialist Sturdivant, Christopher, her husband.
Being here, with her is pretty amazing. It's that kind of stress relief of being able to come home to the person that you're with and being able to talk to someone and not have to worry about any kind of stressors other than just what's going on right at the moment. It helps take the edge off the day a lot more.
It's nice on the fact that we can relate because we know what each other are going through, because a lot of couples in the military cannot do that because they have civilian spouses. So we definitely have that benefit. We're there for each other and we're still able to get the job done, so it's nice.
I've seen it where it can go wrong, where people can't keep that professionalism going, but as far as her and I go, while we're at work, we're just co-workers. It's almost like we're not married. So we definitely have that differentiation between work and personal.
It's that balance between mission and marriage that keeps the Sturdivants going, whether they're in the clinic or outside the wire. Airman Jimmy Moreland, Southern Afghanistan.
Divots is a 24/7 operation that provides a timely, accurate, and reliable connection between the media and the military serving worldwide. Through a network of over 200 portable satellite transmitters around the globe and a distribution hub in Atlanta, Georgia, Divots gives you access to the front lines with live and archived broadcast video, still imagery, and print products. Visit our website at divotshub.net and search through our enormous video and photo library. Register on our website to gain complete access to high-definition content, along with breaking news alerts and webcasts from top military officials. For questions or comments about In the Fight or Divots, you can email us at ondemand@divotshub.net or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. As we close, we feature some of the best photos that Divots has to offer, as we listen to Eddie Horst's composition, Pangea. See you next time, In the Fight.